We're back, people, and today we're bringing a film on Tua and the Miami Dolphins offense versus the New York Jets, and they had another very strong game, really carried the team to victory, nice overtime clutch performance, good performances, I think, all around for each position group. There was a little bit of a lull in the start of the second half for the offense, but overall they were pretty much firing on all cylinders. There was, a couple problems with the short yardage situation again, but they were playing very smart football. Tua is playing at an extremely high level. Really didn't make many mistakes in this game, if any at all. Was just accurate, hitting people where they needed to be, throwing with anticipation, timing, all of that good stuff. Dolphins, defensively, different story, and we'll break that down tomorrow. It was not pretty. Pretty much, honestly, the Dolphins should not have won this game, but they were able to pull it off. Some very good drives to get field goals before the half and the end of the game to tie it. Great job by Malik Washington on that kick return as well. Got to give credit there. But offensively, they were able to get stuff going, and then that overtime drive was just a thing of beauty. So the offense gives me a lot of hope with this team. That win keeps the playoffs alive, but I just feel like the defense isn't good enough for them to win out. Personally, I mean, it would be a very tough ask. They'd have to improve tremendously, but the group's just older. But I do think the offense is at the point where it's been enough games where I think they can compete with pretty much any team in the league, especially if they're on. They were doing a lot of good stuff just across the board, and then they got into overtime and Jonnu Smith took over. Jonnu Smith didn't have a touch before overtime, and then made 3 big plays, 2 on screens. Dolphins had a couple other nice plays going on in that drive as well, and then they had the great dime into the back of the end zone that we'll see here to Jonnu from Tua. Great job going through his reads, patience. And that's a beautiful, beautiful ball. Tua was absolutely fantastic in this game. I don't know how people can hate on what he's done since he's returned from injury. He has been playing the best football of his career. I know his average depth of target is down and all that, but Tua is making smart decisions. He's getting through his reads. He's not trying to force anything. In the past, Tua had a high average depth of target because he would push the ball down the field, and that would create a lot of big plays. But also, there would be a higher margin, for turnovers. Also harder to keep your offense consistent doing those types of things, but still able to do a lot of good stuff. First play that I want to take a look of here, picking up a nice first down on a 2nd and 4. Good job from the O-line. Good job from Tua going through his reads. He starts off the right side here. Doesn't like what he sees. He reads the leverage of these 2 defenders. He knows they're running smash, and he sees outside leverage for both. He knows that's dead. Come back to the middle. Stay patient. Feels that he has enough time in the pocket. Good job from this offensive line. Wait for Waddle to cross face of the linebacker. Boom. Hit him in stride. Good accuracy. Allowed him to get upfield. They also got a penalty. I think Eichenberg got another guy to get pissed off at him and got a 15-yarder at the end of this too. But just good job across the board. Really like the Dolphins have been running more underneath crossers and stuff like that. They ran some mesh against man-to-man here this time versus zone. Just taking what the offense or what the defense has given you. Doing some good stuff here. This is a concept I've talked about in a lot of videos where they do the play action, the fake toss, they pull the offensive lineman across, they get everything to flow this way, but the Jets actually play it really well. Good job by this linebacker. They've been hitting this back across the face, this quick hitter that flashes across the middle to Jonnu, and usually it's open. They've hit this a lot of times in recent weeks. It's taken away here, but this is just a good job by Tua, staying patient, finding the second target with Tyreek behind it, layered over the top. Good catch here by Tyreek as Tua puts it high to get over the second level, and he makes that, which is nice to see. This is why I do want some potential bigger options on the team, just so, Tua has easier targets to throw to. We already have, that's why Jonnu's been such a big addition, at least one of the reasons. They have Tyreek and Waddle. Would be nice to add a little bit of size to the receiver room, but they get down the field. Good job. They get, a couple runs don't work. They get a PI on a throw to Tyreek, and then they finally run into the end zone. Good job. I mean, I'll have a video on Patrick Paul later this week. There's some good, some bad. We'll get to that. Good job here from Malik Washington, taking on a DB. At least getting a body on, allowing Achane to drive with his legs, get into the end zone. Some good stuff on this zone concept. Good job from Julian Hill kicking on the backside. I think, Paul also showed some good ability there to drive and push that, and they got into the end zone. Big play. This was one of the more bigger missed opportunities in the game. This, quick reverse. I think they set this up super well because the motion is with Julian Hill across. Usually when they run this, maybe Tyreek's motioning, but Julian Hill's motioning across. The whole flow of this play is going this way, and Tyreek is so fast, and it's all in one fluid motion that they get to send around. Unfortunately, I mean, it's a great play by this DB. This 26. He makes an insane play. Would love to see Paul get like just a hand on him. He doesn't even need to be able to block him. And like, I don't think this was like Paul's necessary responsibility. I think he's probably gonna looking for a linebacker, but the linebackers are taken completely out of the play. It's a tough ask for Paul to get hands on this guy, but would have been nice to see that. I also think Tyreek could have played it better if he was just trying to get to the edge. If he showed a little bit of patience, like if he slowed down here, that would have slowed this guy down and maybe helped Paul get this block too, and then he could have cut it back up. But the fact that they didn't get a first down on this play was crazy. This could have been a potential touchdown with how this play was set up. They was maybe a slight missed block or a slight misplay by Tyreek away from that being a huge play. But, that sucked because then this is on 3rd and 1, the next play after, the end of the quarter. They throw the ball down the field. Tua's first reads down to the bottom. Doesn't get what he likes with Jonnu and Julian Hill. The quick outs are taken away, so he goes back to his third read to Tyreek. It's like flashing open, but the safety makes a good play. Tua throws an accurate ball here. He gives Tyreek a chance. It hits Tyreek in the hands, but this is the problem sometimes is they don't have the best contested ball catchers on the team. It is a tough catch to make, but it feels like these types of plays just don't end up happening for them. And then they kick a field goal after this get stopped to a field goal because mainly that big missed opportunity on the end around before this, which, sucks. But they come back. They were still able to show some successful option. The play action, and look at the anticipation accuracy here. He's starting to throw way before Tyreek breaks. Like, look at him right there. Like, he's starting to throw. Tyreek's at the 40. The ball gets caught at the 29. Like, that's insane, man. Like, this is something that goes so underappreciated, I think, from a lot of, not even just the Dolphins fan base, but just people around the league that I think maybe don't necessarily understand football at more than a casual level. That this is why Tua can be so good. And, like, look we got Alec Ingold running the other route down the field, and you're just throwing this ball, and it hits Tyreek literally just, like, right there perfectly, and you get just a huge play off of it, off of the play action. Huge opportunity there. This was another 3rd and short play. This is one that's, I think, is on Jonnu. Jonnu, they motion him across, try to peel him back to get, just hands. He just needs to get hands on number 7, but Jonnu slips, I think, and Reddick gets in the backfield. If Jonnu just slows him down any bit, he doesn't even have to really block him, just slow him down any bit, it's probably a first down because I actually think they blocked it up well enough, at least, for Achane to shoot through because these linebackers weren't flying through. Achane, all he had to do was pretty much just hit this gap as hard as he could, and he would at least, I think, fall forward for a couple of yards, but he gets tripped up, which is unfortunate because I actually think the O-line did enough of their job in this situation. It feels like there's something goes wrong, whether it's a guard missing an assignment, a tight end missing an assignment, maybe the running back making the wrong read whenever it's the 3rd and 1. Now this time they go for it on 4th and 2, and they actually pick it up. Dolphins get man-to-man. I was talking about, they run the mesh concept. This corner's put in a tough spot. He has to press versus Waddle, and Waddle's with outside leverage, and he gets inside there. And then Jonnu's just slow playing this. Like, Jonnu's not even really running a route. He's just there to create a rub and pick, make the guy go around, and that's what happens. Like, same with Tyreek as well. And it's just to get Waddle wide open, which they do. And good job from Tua as well, being patient. O-line gives him just enough time for him to throw that ball off the back foot, and they pick that up down the field. Pretty much the only option. Unfortunately, they still weren't able to score a touchdown off this drive. Here's the 3rd down play. Tua's first read of Waddle, taken away completely. Come across the field, try to find OBJ. That gets taken away. They would have had to do like some off-script stuff where he maybe bends around, but that wasn't there. Same with Tyreek. Just nothing there. So then he takes the flat route to this, basically where you create this screen to Jalen Wright. And if it was just, I don't know, man. I feel like if Wright caught this and was able to, maybe get a little more prepared, or Julian Hill was able to get a better, if Julian Hill needs to get a better block here, if he was able to seal this, Wright would have been able to cut this to the outside and potentially even, score. But I think pick up a first down if Julian Hill is able to just actually move this guy to the inside and not allow him to hit Wright initially. Because that slows him down and then allows the linebackers to get there. So, there was potential on the swing pass. I actually think Tua made the right decision. It was just slight misexecution. Very close to at least getting that first down. It's just getting forced to stop with another field goal in those plays. This was right before half where the Dolphins had no timeouts. Got the ball with 35 seconds. They, had a completion before this to Waddle. Another completion to Tyreek. He got out of bounds. And then you get Tua, boom, timing, anticipation. Good job, sees his safety, one, boom. His eyes are instantly right here. He sees what's this happening. This guy's rolling down. This guy's rolling to the middle of the field. He knows middle field closed. deep down the field. So he comes to this side of the field. Boom. He sees this window open up. He's throwing with anticipation. Hit Waddle down the field. Good catch. Good job by Waddle getting down. Then they get down there, spike the ball, kick a field goal. Big points. I know Jason Sanders missed the extra point, which sucks. But he was special teams player of the month, which was funny because he came out after special teams player of the month, missed the first extra point. But he made some very clutch field goals in this game. So shout out to him. I want to throw this play in here because this is the Dolphins seam rail slide RPO. They run this all the time. They got the rail going here. This is actually interesting because there's no slide in this play. It's just a seam and a rail because this is clear RPO, but they're running actually a route on the backside. It gets kind of messed up. There's no one running to the flat, which is interesting because they got the rail. This is a seam. I just wanted to show this because just look at Tua. Look at his eyes and body, and look how everything is just so fast. He's able to reset his feet so quickly and has such a quick release. Like his eyes, his whole body the whole time is pretty much pointing towards throwing it to angled. And once he sees that, he's able to reset instantly and throw it over the middle and hit Waddle accurately on the seam route. Like that is not normal. Like 99% of the quarterbacks in the league are not making that throw. There's maybe are like doing it in that way. Like obviously people can make that throw, but they're not able to do this with like the footwork, the release, the eyes. Like that is such a rare trait at the quarterback position. Unfortunately, the second half started a little bit slow. Like they get a third down situation here, but there just wasn't the looks that they wanted. Kind of started with Jonnu over the middle. Tyreek's getting carried, taken away. Waddle's going to get takeaway on the corner route. He kind of thinks he could have Jonnu. He comes off this route from Achane. That's not there. He could hit Jonnu, but this DB actually makes a really good play because Jonnu comes open, maybe flashes for a second, but this DB squeezes to take away that throwing lane. And once he sees that, he dumps it down to OBJ, but then he comes off it and makes a good tackle, and then Dolphins are forced to punt. And they really didn't even, like, that third quarter was slow, but that was really, like, their only drive in the third quarter. Their second drive in the third quarter started in the third quarter, but it was, it was, like, literally with, like, less than a minute left, so it went into the fourth. So, like, they really just didn't have the ball at all in the third quarter, which slowed them down pretty big, and, kept the defense on the field. But this was a huge conversion for the Dolphins because they hadn't really had anything going in the second half, hadn't had any big completions. This is a 3rd and 10. They needed this bad, especially when they were down 8 at this point. Look at the anticipation, just reading this window. Like, you have to hit this into this window. And he's just seeing this guy. Like, he's trying to hold him with his eyes, make this guy squeeze this route. You're trying to get this over, across the middle, take away that. And you just layer this over the top. Perfect placement. Has the perfect amount of touch, velocity, accuracy. Him and Tyreek being on the same page. They had a miscommunication earlier in this game, but then that's a huge completion to keep the drive going. Then you had some other nice plays. You had a PI after this. You get down in the red zone. Love this call to go man-to-man because this is a huge play. I think, it might have been 4th down. I can't remember. Yeah, it was 4th down. So this was a 4th down play. Huge play. They get man-to-man, exactly what they want. They motion Tyreek in. They make them pass this off. Tua is reading it. Once he identifies that it's man-to-man and this corner's not going to, break on this, once he sees this outside corner, like, open up his hips to go with Jonnu, he's throwing that to Tyreek all day. And when Tyreek has the momentum and he can shift you across the face like that, that's insane. This is why, like, sometimes people always say, like, you want, like, the big guys down the red zone, but, like, if you get man-to-man, sometimes you don't necessarily, like, big guys can help too. But sometimes having a guy that can separate is just as big because you have less room. You have a guy that can separate like that, boom, you get a nice play. And another huge play because they needed to tie this. This was the 2-point conversion. They go for a similar concept, but they run it differently. This time they motion Achane out wide to get this room open instead of having Tyreek and make them swap. You motion the inside guy to the out, get this open. You get Waddle one-on-one, so he doesn't have the momentum shifting this time, but he's gone DJ Reed. And it's just a great play from Waddle into it. Tua ball placement, puts it exactly where his guy can catch it, and then Waddle makes the catch initially. He had to make this catch because if he didn't catch it initially, he would have, like, if he bobbled it at all, he would have not been in the end zone, and just gets that 2-point conversion. Huge play from both of them. Really, really good work. And then here's the drive that Dolphins got lucky. This is where they got lucky. They got the defense basically should have given up a field goal with no time left, but for some reason Devontae Adams went out of bounds. Then the Dolphins got a good kick return, and then here, after the good kick return, good job from Tua feeling the flow of this play. The whole D-line is to his right. He flows out to the left, knows he has Tyreek breaking on the out, just throws that. Good accuracy. Great job from Tyreek creating separation. Tyreek and Waddle were very good in this game, like receiver wise, and they had huge games, huge opportunities. Nice to see that happening. And then basically this was the play that got him into field goal range. I think they had one other play after this to Waddle to make it a little bit easier. And then there was another play to Tyreek that I actually think it looked like a miss from Tua, but I actually think it was good it was incomplete, because if they caught it, I don't know if they would have had time to kick the field goal, which is, basically the whole thing with that. So they needed to get the spike because they had no timeouts. Then they get Jonnu involved. This is the overtime. Dolphins get the ball first. Little lucky there. This is a huge play. They go back-to-back with this. It also gets tipped, which great catch from Jonnu, because that ball is tipped by this edge defender. And Jonnu catches it cleanly and still gets a field. Look at this burst, this explosion. Also very interesting. Notice Brewer on this play, because I think this comes into play on the next one, is like sometimes Brewer will go out and lead out in field, but sometimes he goes back to kick out, because these guys, if this guy's close enough to maybe chase him down, if he gets slowed down from these defenders, Brewer can get a body on him, and I think he does that in the next play. But there's so much room. Jonnu just explodes through. You can tell he's fresh, hasn't really been hit all game, and then just throws his body into people. That's what I love about Jonnu is, defense is tired. He's going to, make you pay with his athleticism and physicality. They go back to the same exact play. Another example of it. Also, just good job from the O-line on these plays too, because Patrick Paul did a good job on that play. Kendall Lamb did a good job on these plays, getting a body. Eichenberg didn't get, Eichenberg and Brewer didn't block anyone on this play, but they didn't need to, but they were still out there ready to throw a body onto someone. There was just so much space to work with. Here's another example of it. Receivers are blocking. Good job for Kendall Lamb. Good job by Liam. And as I talked about with Brewer, last time the edge shot so far upfield, this time he's able to get back in the play. Look at Brewer throw his body to seal that guy, and then everyone else is downfield blocking. Good job. And they're able to pick up 14. Also, look when Jonnu, let's see when Jonnu is contacted. He's contacted right there for when he gets tackled, which is 2 to 3 yards short of the line to gain, and falls forward 4 yards past it. So that's really good. Then they get the seam real slide RPO. When you have a weapon like Achane, because a lot of times when Achane lines up out wide, usually this means there's a lot of screens to him. They sometimes run reverses to him. Teams have to take notice of that. But when you have a running back that can line up out here, also if they're running a route down the field, sometimes linebackers don't pay as close attention. Here they get the option, they show the run. This guy gets blended down. Good read from Tua. He's reading this guy. Throw to space. Now he has to throw it back shoulder to Achane because that's where the space is. Achane makes a great adjustment. He has such good hands. He actually almost fumbles this too. He loses the ball there, but recatches it, which is great. But just such a valuable weapon to have in these situations. Something that I think goes just under the radar, I think, because we've had, Achane doing this for 2 years now. And then the game winner. I don't think people understand how good of a throw this is. Great job from Jonnu as well. Tua's first read looks like it's down here to Odell, taken away. Now he's just showing patience. Great job by the O-line as well, giving him a clean pocket, enough time. He's waiting for this to come open. And then Jonnu, who gets contacted, he gets a little bit off balance there too. And Tua has to layer this over the second level, throw it with touch, and then lead Jonnu and still put it out in front. So this DB, this safety has no chance to make a play. The accuracy, the placement of this ball is so perfect. And it's just the layering. Layering is such an I think it's something that, people don't talk about a lot, maybe in the casual fan base, is the ability to layer throws, which means the ability to throw it over the second level, but between the third level. So there's this mix of touch and velocity that you need on those situations. And boom, he just places that perfectly. Good job from the O-line, giving him enough time. And Tua just stays patient. You can see his eyes here. Now he's just waiting for this to see if this opens up, can get past. He knows he has the time. He can feel that. And it's just boom. Great job from Jonnu too. Because it's not an easy catch. It was full extension, when he catches it, it's kind of contested as well. I've seen Dolphins drop that type of play plenty of times. So huge play from Jonnu. Love seeing that. Love seeing the team somehow pull off the win. The hope lives on another week. Their next 2 games are their biggest of the season, their toughest matches yet. But I know people if they lost the Jets, that would have been very bad. But if you look around the league, it is tough to win a football game. You see teams get upset every single week. You see teams playing in close games versus bad teams that are good teams. Happens all the time. And this is also a divisional matchup. I do think the Dolphins should have beaten them by much more, but the defense, struggled. So there's definitely a lot of questions to have, especially we'll get to the defensive side of the ball tomorrow. They did step up in the second half, but it was still not pretty overall. But a win is a win in the NFL. Doesn't really matter who your opponent is, because teams show up week to week. the Panthers have a bad record. They almost just beat the Eagles. They almost beat the Buccaneers. Like, they are literally like a dropped pass away from beating the Philadelphia Eagles, who are like the best team in the league. It's just so many games like that around the league. Like, I'm pretty sure yesterday at halftime, every game was like within like one score, which is kind of crazy. That's how close the games were yesterday, just across the league. And that's sometimes I think, goes under the part, like, yes, the Dolphins need to beat good teams for sure. That's a narrative for sure they have to break. But beating bad teams every time you play them is also actually a good thing, because it's not often that you're always just beating bad teams. A lot of teams, have an upset or two throughout the season. But just great job from the offense in this game. Great clutch ability. I have a lot of faith in this offense, whether you're looking at for this season or even next season, future. I think they found a rhythm. They found ways that they can win this season in different ways where they're not as predictable and don't have to rely on always pushing the ball down the field. We know they can still do that. It's just if teams are going to play them in a certain way, they found that rhythm. And Tua's playing at the highest level of his career. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.